I never thought I'd be the man caught in a sin that would break two hearts at once. My name's Nathan, and this is my confession, raw and unfiltered, a story of desire so fierce it burned through my soul and left me in ruins. If you're watching, you're already hooked, drawn to a sin that feels like fire until it's a noose around your neck. This isn't about love or redemption, it's about hunger, the kind that blinds you and begs you to fall. Stay with me because this one's going to sear your soul. It's a tale of summer lust and a betrayal I couldn't hide. It was a sweltering August weekend in Savannah, Georgia, the air thick with humidity and the scent of magnolias. I was 34, married to Claire, a woman whose kindness was my anchor. But our marriage had settled into a quiet routine, like a song stuck on repeat. We'd gone to her family's old plantation-style house for a weekend visit, a place steeped in history and secrets. That's where I crossed paths with Elise, Claire's older sister, a 38-year-old divorcee whose sharp wit and sharper eyes had always stirred something in me. Elise was a storm, all dark hair and bold curves, her sundress clinging to her in the Savannah heat, her laugh cutting through the chatter of the family dinner. I was fixing a loose porch rail, sweat sticking my shirt to my skin, when she joined me, her bare feet soft on the wood, her perfume magnolia and musk hitting me like a spark. "You're too good for this heat, Nathan," she said, her voice low, teasing like she saw through my steady husband act. My wedding ring burned a warning. I ignored my pulse racing as she leaned closer, her dress catching the porch light. The house was alive, Claire's family laughing inside, the cicadas singing in the yard. Claire was in the kitchen, helping her mom, her presence a comfort I took for granted. I told myself to focus, to be the man she loved, but Elise's gaze held me, her smile a dare. She brushed past me, her arm grazing mine, the touch light but electric. My breath caught my skin, flushing in the humid night. I should have walked away, joined Claire, but the heat, her scent, Elise's energy, it was too much. "You're married," she said, glancing at my ring, her tone more challenge than judgment. I nodded, my throat tight, my mind screaming to stop. "Does she make you feel alive?" she asked, stepping closer, her sundress outlining curves I tried not to see. The question was a flame igniting a fire I'd buried for years. I didn't answer, but my silence was a confession. Her smile was slow, dangerous, like she'd already claimed me. The porch was quiet, the family's voices fading, the night wrapping us in its heat. Elise's hand grazed my wrist, her fingers warm against my skin, a spark that set my nerves alight. My heart pounded, a traitor, as her eyes held mine, daring me to fall. "Tell me to stop," she whispered, her lips inches from mine, her breath hot in the humid air. I didn't. My hands found her waist, the cotton soft under my fingers, her body pressing closer. The cicadas sang, the stars dimmed, and I was already lost. Her kiss was a collision, fierce and hungry, tasting of sweet tea and sin. My hands slid up her back, pulling her against me, the porch rail creaking behind her. The night was alive, the heat pressing in as her lips moved to my neck, her teeth grazing each bite, a pulse of pleasure and pain. I was drowning, and Elise was the tide pulling me deeper into a sea of want. The family was a world away, their laughter fading, leaving only her heat, her hunger. Her kiss was a wildfire burning through every thought of Claire. Elise's hands were bold, tugging at my shirt, her nails grazing my skin through the fabric. The porch was a haze, the string lights casting shadows that danced like devils. My hands roamed her waist, the sundress slipping under my fingers, revealing smooth skin that burned under my touch. The cicada's song matched my racing heart, the air thick with heat and desire. Her lips were everywhere, my jaw, my throat each kiss a claim, each touch a vow broken. I pulled her into the shadowed corner of the porch, the vines shielding us from the house. Her dress was a tease, the cotton riding up as she pressed against me, exposing thighs that made my breath catch. My hands slid lower, tracing her hips, her gasps sharp in the humid air. The guilt was there, sharp and cold, but it only fueled the fire, made every touch more desperate, more dangerous. Her hands were on my chest now, unbuttoning my shirt, her nails leaving trails of fire on my skin. The night was our world, the family's chatter a distant hum. I lifted her against the porch rail, her legs wrapping around me, the dress bunching at her waist, revealing lace that drove me wild. Her lips found mine again, hungry, demanding, tasting of magnolia and want. My hand slid under her dress, her skin warm and soft, her breath hitching as my fingers found her. The string lights flickered their glow, painting us in gold and shadow, turning our sin into something almost beautiful. But it wasn't. It was raw, desperate, a collision of need and guilt. Nathan. She murmured my name, a spell pulling me deeper. Her fingers tangled in my hair, her body arching into mine, a demand I couldn't resist. The cicadas sang louder, the heat suffocating as my hands gripped her thighs, her lace a barrier I wanted to tear away. The pleasure was building a storm of its own, raw and relentless, edged with the guilt I couldn't outrun. When it happened, it was a collision, a wave crashing over me. Her cries were sharp, muffled by the vines, my hands holding her tight, our bodies moving as one. The pleasure was fierce, overwhelming, a betrayal that felt like salvation. The porch rail creaked, the night alive with our heat, our sin. The family was inside oblivious, but the guilt was a spotlight burning through me. It was everything, every ache, every want, every secret I'd buried. Afterward, we stayed there tangled, breathless, the air heavy with the scent of magnolias and us. Elise's hair spilled across my chest, her fingers tracing my jaw, her eyes half closed with satisfaction. The guilt crashed in a tidal wave, but her warmth held it at bay, a lie I wanted to believe. "This can't happen again," I said, my voice rough, unconvincing. She laughed low and wicked, her lips brushing my ear. "You don't mean that," she said, and damn her, she was right. The night's heat lingered, and so did the weight of what I'd done. I returned to the house, my shirt straightened, my heart pounding. Claire was in the living room laughing with her mom, her smile warm, trusting a knife in my chest. I joined her, my hand on her back, but it felt like a lie, my fingers still burning with Elise's touch. I wanted to confess, to beg for forgiveness, but the words choked me. The cicadas sang on their song, a mirror of the chaos inside me. I saw Elise again the next day, helping in the garden, her sundress catching the sunlight, her eyes finding mine. She didn't speak, just brushed past me, her hand grazing my back, a spark that set my blood on fire. I told myself to stay away, to be the husband Claire deserved, but when she texted midnight. The attic, my body had other plans. The attic was dusty, the air thick with history and desire, her dress discarded on the floor, her lace glowing in the moonlight. Her kiss was fiercer now, desperate, her hands tearing at my shirt, the buttons scattering. My hands roamed her body, greedy, memorizing every curve, every shudder. The moonlight filtered through a cracked window, hiding our sin, but the guilt was there, sharper now, a blade I couldn't outrun. Her lips found my throat, her hands sliding under my jeans, her touch a brand I'd never erase. The pleasure was raw, edged with pain, a betrayal that felt like salvation. Claire grew suspicious. "You're distant, Nathan," she said one night, her hand on mine, her eyes searching for the man she married. I froze, her touch so different from Elise's, gentle where Elise was wild. Just tired, I lied, my voice tight, my mind flashing to the attic, Elise's hands on my skin. Claire's frown deepened, her fingers brushing my ring, and I thought she saw the truth. "I love you," she said, and the words were a weight crushing me. Elise pushed harder. "Leave her," she said, her voice sharp, her hands gripping my shoulders in the attic, the moonlight casting shadows across her face. "Leave Claire burn my life for her sister." The idea was madness, but for a moment I saw it a life with Elise, wild and free. Then Claire's face flashed in my mind, her trust, her love, and I pulled away, shaking. I told Elise it was over. She stood in the attic, her eyes blazing, her dress clinging to her sweat-slick skin. "You'll always want me," she said, her voice a promise, a threat. She left a bracelet behind, silver and delicate, her perfume clinging to it, tucked into my pocket. I should have thrown it away, but I kept it hidden in my bag, a secret that burned. The savannah heat lingered, and so did my hunger, a fire I couldn't extinguish. Claire grew quieter, her questions sharper. That night she came home early from the kitchen, her eyes wide, her face pale. She'd seen us through the attic window, Elise's silhouette against mine. "Nathan, how could you?" she whispered, holding the bracelet, her voice breaking, her hands shaking. I froze, the guilt, a tidal wave drowning me. I tried to speak, to explain, but the words were ash. Elise stood silent in the doorway, her face unreadable, her presence a wound. I begged Claire to stay, my voice raw, but she shook her head, tears falling. "With my sister," she said, the words cutting deeper than any blade. She left the door slamming, the silence deafening. The family turned on me, their voices cold, Elise's mother refusing to look at me. Elise vanished, leaving only the bracelet, her scent magnolia and musk, a ghost I'd never escape. This is my story, a warning to anyone who thinks they can play with fire and not get burned. If you've watched this far, you know that hunger, that ache for what you shouldn't want. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, call me a fool, a sinner, or just a man who fell. Like the video, or don't, but share it with someone who's felt temptation's sting. Check out my other stories, they're just as raw, just as real. Ever been caught by a forbidden glance? Spill your secrets below. I'm listening and I've been there.